How do you become more comfortable speaking on camera, even if you have little to no experience in front of the camera before? In this video, I'm going to reveal the biggest fear most people have when they stare at this cold camera lens. And it's not what you think. And this misconception is what will keep you stuck from becoming a confident and persuasive person on camera. When I first started creating videos for my consulting business and launching this YouTube channel, I remember how awkward and self-conscious I was feeling, and I even worked in broadcast journalism earlier in my career, everybody. So you are not alone. I feel your pain. I would spend hours trying to get the perfect take, only to cringe at the results. I was so focused on getting it right, sound familiar, that I lost sight of the real goal, which is to connect with my audience and share my expertise in a relatable way, like I am with you right now. And the longer I procrastinated, the longer I kept my ideas from the world, from sharing videos like this with you. And it wasn't until I realized that my biggest fear wasn't really about the camera at all, but something much deeper. And it was something that I was able to break through and start creating videos that actually resonated with people. And I've seen my clients do the same. And that's what I'm gonna share with you in this video. Having now created over 500 hours of social media video content, webinars, live and recorded, pitches and presentations, both on Zoom and in the room for my consulting agency, and I've coached others to do the same, I've identified the top mistakes that people make in the beginning of this process that ultimately sabotage their success and keep them from showing up on camera. If you're serious about showing up on social media in a powerful way on video, then take out a pen and paper, because I am about to share with you my 3-part action framework that has helped me and also my clients go from feeling cringe about being on camera, you know how that feels, to actually loving and sharing your expertise and actually liking the camera ultimately. So if you're feeling that and you want that result, let's do it.
Put your hands up.
So let's start off by getting on the same page. Showing up in an authentic and powerful way on camera doesn't require a perfect script, and it doesn't require all this expensive and flashy equipment. Don't get me wrong, the equipment's great and it makes really good looking videos. And you can get to that later if you want to. But I don't want you to get consumed with those things, because those ultimately are going to cause you and me, I've done this before, to completely sabotage this process. So whether you've been on camera before and you cringe every time you go back and you hate making videos, and every time you make one, you want to do less and less of them, which I've been in that boat, or if you really haven't shown up on camera and you're just scared to death of it and you're watching this video wanting to get started, no matter what bucket you're in, this video is going to pertain to you, because I'm going to share with you a key mindset shift of how you approach your relationship with the camera. And it is a relationship, because we're talking to it a long time, especially if you're making a lot of videos. So I want you to redefine that relationship with the camera and how you actually show up. But before we get into the mindset shift, I want to start by talking about the underlying fear that you may be having today, and the same fear that I've had, as I mentioned to you earlier, in those hundreds and hundreds of presentations on camera that I've done, and also the people that I've coached to do the same. This fear is that we are showing up on camera and we have this fear of actually speaking to it because we don't know what we're sounding like. It's as if we see that lens and then all of a sudden we want to just cower in the corner and all the thoughts we had completely disappear. That is a very common feeling, and you may be feeling that today. And I want to talk about, though, an underlying fear even underneath that one. That's the real fear that's keeping us stuck. But before I get there, let me talk about this mindset shift. So the mindset shift I want you to have is actually removing the camera from your brain altogether. I'm going to share in a moment how I do that in my 3-part action plan. Though in a conceptual way, I want you to think about this for a moment, removing the camera away. If the camera's not here, I would be talking to people in the room. I might be talking to this person over here or that person over there. What we're missing with the camera is eye contact. And so that's never going to appear on camera. Now there are ways around it. Of course, the Apple Vision Pro has fake eyes on the outside, and that's an alternative. You can also possibly use a teleprompter to broadcast eyes in front of your camera, but that's all very laborious and weird and doesn't really get past the real understanding that we need to understand that the camera is actually people that are looking back at us. And it's not just one person, but it could be many. And so the key mindset shift is thinking about how we would communicate without the camera present. I'm going to give you an easy way to do that in the action plan. Though let's dig into that underlying fear that I talked about. So we think that it's this fear of us sounding stupid, this fear of us not representing our expertise or our skill set in the right way. And this is all extremely valid, especially if you are showing up like me. You're a coach or consultant, you have a great career off camera, you have experience and expertise guiding clients. You don't want to water that down by showing up on camera in a way that doesn't properly represent your brand. I totally get it. You want to come across like the expert you are. And I'm all about that. And so if you watch this video and all the others on my channel, you're going to get guidance that keeps you in line with that exact goal, because I share that belief with you. I want myself being on video just like you. I want you to show up in a way that not only honors your expertise, though elevates your expertise. So none of the advice I'm ever going to give you in this video or others is going to guide you astray with flash in the pan tactics, because those ultimately can really hurt us in the long run. So that being said, what is that underlying fear underneath the fear of sounding silly or stupid? It's actually the fear of judgment. What I mean by this is we are imagining that group of people that we can't see through this cold camera lens. We're imagining that they are saying bad things about us, honestly. That's what we often go to. We think of the negative. Or we may be thinking, will they like what I said? Will they judge me? Are they talking to each other behind my back? Are they thinking, wow, this person was really good before, but now I realize that he really doesn't know what he's talking about? We're scared it's going to uproot our expertise. It's going to uproot our reputation. So what's the alternative to that? Well, we don't show up on camera. Okay, that's a short-term alternative, because we think the less we say, whether it's in a live webinar or a recorded video. Sometimes people are more scared of the recorded ones because they are in perpetuity forever on YouTube until you take them down. And so we're worried that people are going to continually see that and judge us and be developing this belief about us behind our back. Let me tell you something that will actually diffuse this belief and hopefully give you permission, like I have with myself and my clients, to actually hit record and go live on camera and speak up in those virtual meetings. And it is this: we are building a personal brand whether we plan to or not. I have a video that I'm going to link here talking all about personal branding. Go there to learn about my complete tactics on how I think about this. Though if you're new to personal branding, the baseline is this: you don't decide to build a brand, it's like a reputation. If you're showing up in the world, in society, talking to clients, whether on camera or off, they are building beliefs about us and ultimately a reputation for us, whether we decide to or not. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about not showing up on camera. So maybe you're sitting there and you're thinking, I really want to launch into social media. I want to launch my YouTube channel. I want to post more LinkedIn content or Instagram Reels or whatever it is. That is exciting. You're on this video because you want to do that. I want to encourage you to get there. And this is a blocker that has held me back before, and I see hold so many people back. So understand that putting out content that you're proud of is in your control. This video is going to help you do that. And here's the most important thing: you're feeling called to share your expertise, your passions, and just your voice to the world in some capacity through social media video. Give me a yes in the comments if that's you. Yes, I want to show up on social media video. So if you are wanting to do that, we have to just do it. Because when we don't show up, guess what? Great ideas in our head don't help anyone. And I want you to show up with confidence and purpose and intention. So your expertise is elevated, your clients want to work with you. Every video you make builds your expertise and makes them want to work with you even more. That's what these tactics are going to help you do. So the first step to becoming more comfortable on camera might actually surprise you, because it's not about, as I said, this fancy equipment or memorizing scripts, even though the content is important and ultimately you might want to write scripts. We don't want to get the cart before the horse. It's actually a rather simple exercise that you can do anytime, anywhere, and guess what? Without even turning on a camera. Yeah, we're talking about not turning on a camera in a video about a camera. But don't worry, the camera's gonna come up later. So one of the main reasons people have a tense relationship with the camera is because it makes us freeze up. That's what I hear all the time from people that I work with. And I've felt that before too. When we're staring again at this cold lens, there's no one there looking back at us, we suddenly forget all of our thoughts. Why does this happen? Here's the thing. If you remove the power that the camera has over us, what we're really afraid of here is our fears that I shared earlier. The fear is actually that we're showing up not knowing what the hell we're talking about. And that could be us speaking to one person, a group of people, or the camera. So the camera just adds an extra layer on top because we can't see the people. Though if you think about this in real life, this can happen in a one-on-one situation. So what would you do to rectify that? Let's say you're showing up to talk to a client or some colleague that you're working with and you have to deliver some specific information. What would you do in that situation to prepare yourself? So the camera is no different. So the preparation going in is very, very similar, if not exactly the same, to if we were showing up to speak to someone one-on-one. So there is a reframe for you. Think of it that way. There is one person behind this camera. So that leads to the first activity I want you to do as the first part of this action plan. And I call it the remove the camera activity. So I want you to get comfortable in your chair, wherever you are, where you might be speaking on camera. I don't want you to lie down or be in a meditative state. That's not what I want. The key difference here is I want you to turn away from the camera if you already have one up, or if you don't have one, fine. I want you to close your eyes and think about your favorite movie, because we all have one. What excites you about it? Tell me about the plot of the movie. Really immerse me in the story and tell me about the characters. I want you to spend about 3 minutes doing this. You can set a timer and just start talking, but you do not open your eyes. Here's the point of this activity. By closing our eyes, we are able to channel our visualization abilities, which happen no matter what when we are speaking. The key difference here is I'm encouraging you to remove that visual sense so that you're, number one, not seeing the camera, and number two, you're not concerned about making eye contact with anything in the room, because now you can reflect back on your activity and think about what you saw. What was popping up in your mind? Who were you telling this story to? Were you seeing visuals of the movie? Were you seeing your friend, your loved one, a family member, whomever? Were you seeing a group of people? Were you seeing the actors on screen? I'm certain you were probably seeing something. So I want you to think about this and reflect on this when you do this activity. And I want you to do this activity on a regular basis, by the way. Because what it's going to do is it's going to do two things. It's going to help you understand how to channel those visuals when you do get in front of people, and more specifically, when you do get in front of the camera. And the other thing it does, it actually taps into our visualization abilities as humans in general. And if you're in the mindset community and you understand this idea of visualizing your future and the idea of law of attraction, this is what drives it. It's all about visualizing in a rich and emotive way a future state, so much so that your mind starts to be in that state. That's what's ultimately happening when we're speaking, especially if we know our content very well. What happens is when the camera is introduced, it causes us to focus on the camera and not be seeing and hearing our own thoughts and seeing our visualizations. So this activity helps us practice that. I would encourage you to do this over the next 3 days. So start off in the morning. I prefer to do it then, but whenever you feel like you want to take a break and practice this, set the timer and start talking. Talk about your day, talk about your project, whatever it is, talk about something and don't stop. And then when you're done, take a moment to think about the visuals you saw. So trust me on this. I know it may sound weird now and you may not see how it's going to get you to that spot, but think of this like working out or building up endurance. That's what this is. We're training our minds to tune into that visualization. So just trust me. If you do this, like I said, and do it on a regular basis, you're going to start being able to see those visuals and hear your own voice while you're talking to camera. This is key. It's a mindset shift, and you have to do it through practice. Okay, for part 2. So once you've mastered the first technique that I just shared with you, you're going to be ready to take this next step. So this is where some people honestly start to check out, because this is where the cringe effect starts coming in, because this is where we introduce the camera. But don't worry, I've got an approach that helps you ease into the camera, because I realize throwing us in the deep end can be horrifying and can make us run away and never want to get on camera again. So I'm excited about this one because I call it my 7-day camera confidence challenge. So let me tell you how this goes. So over 7 days, in addition to the visualization activities I just told you, I want you to do those every day of the 7 days. We're going to build on that. And the first 2 days, we're going to start with audio. And then the last 5 days, we're going to introduce the camera. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to talk on audio, whether it's a voice memo on your phone, on your computer, whatever that is, somewhere where you can record it. And I want you to talk for 3 to 5 minutes about a topic. So we're going to do audio for the first 2 days because that helps us ease into the process. Because one of the things people share with me is not only are they scared to be on camera, they actually don't want to hear their voice. In fact, many people that I talk to, clients I work with, hate their voice. Hate's a strong word, but I hear that sometimes. They hate their voice more than they actually do their image on camera. Or in fact, that's what people bring up more often. So audio helps us ease into this. And on day 3, we introduce the camera. But don't worry, you're going to have some practice. You've done the visualization activities. You've done the audio recordings, and you've gotten hopefully at least comfortable with your voice, and you've gotten over the cringe effect a bit. Now we're introducing the camera on day 3. So pull out your iPhone, your Android, your computer camera, whatever it is, and talk to the camera about a topic for 3 to 5 minutes. And you're going to do that same activity for the next 5 days, and that will round out the 7-day activity. So you may be thinking, Joey, you've asked me to show up on camera, and I'm already uncomfortable about that, and now you're having me come up with 7 days worth of topics to talk about. I've made it easy for you. Don't worry. In the description below, you can sign up to get the 7-day Camera Confidence Action Plan emails. Yes, you're going to get a daily email from me automatically where I'm going to guide you through that day's prompt, give you some encouragement, and help you build on the day before. So by the end of the 7 days, with my guidance, you've actually practiced in a way that's going to be meaningful to get you to the goal. So go ahead and grab that in the description below. You're going to get those emails, and I think it's really going to help you. I'm really excited to see your results once you do this 7-day plan, and then you can share them with me on Instagram or on LinkedIn or wherever you can find me, because I really want to hear your results. And now for part 3. What do you actually do with those recordings now that you've made them? I'm going to go into great detail in this in the action plan emails, though I'll give you a highlight now so you just understand where this is going to give you some motivation to actually do it. So we're looking for things that we frankly dislike about what we hear, because the first step of us becoming comfortable on camera is understanding how we show up and us getting past that cringe effect. I know it is so hard, but I'm encouraging you to do it. We have to push through it. Like I said earlier, it's like working out. If you haven't been in the gym for a while, you just got to push through it. And it's going to get easier after about a week, okay, of consistency. And that's going to happen here. And I want you to get past the cringe effect. I want you to get comfortable hearing your voice. And then you're going to be able to start to hear how you sound and how you show up. And then when you add in the video, you're going to start to see how you look, and what parts you like about it and what parts you don't like about it. And then from there, we have information so that you can actually understand how to make tweaks and adjustments so you show up feeling more confident on camera than you did before you started the activity. So to be specific, I want you to listen to those audios or watch those videos, and I want you to write down 5 things you liked about yourself, 5 things that sounded good, 5 things that really pleased you. You can find 5. Find 5 things in those audios or videos. And then I want you to only write down 1 thing you'd like to change. Find 1 thing. There may be many, but pick the top thing out of each of those you'd like to change. And by the end of the 7 days, you're going to have a whole handful of things you like about yourself, and you're going to have only 7 things you want to change. And that's a great mix of improvements and things to celebrate that will give you motivation to continue this process. Because showing up on camera, it's an ongoing thing. and it can be unforgiving, and I think you're gonna have those things to lean on when you actually start making steps toward recording videos to put them out to the world. So if you're looking for more personalized feedback right now from me and you really want to jumpstart this, I've got an additional opportunity for you. So also in the description below, you'll find a link to submit a video to me directly through an online tool where I'll give you some prompts and you'll record some things that are going to be easy breezy for you to do based on the prompts. And the video will get sent directly to me and I'll be able to look at it and see how you're showing up on camera. And like I said earlier, I'm going to find a lot of positives that are happening. I'm going to find a few things that I think you can work on right away because I want you to feel confident about your next steps. And then from there, I can reach out to you and we can schedule a 15-minute complimentary strategy session, which is the beginning stages of what I do with a lot of my one-on-one clients, where we'll talk about those things and I can give you a quick action plan so you can start to build on the activities in this video and also the 7-day action plan I shared, or the challenge, and they can jumpstart you even more. So if you're interested in that, click on the link below and I'll look forward to seeing your video. Okay, there's one more thing I want to share with you. And I told you earlier, I didn't want you to get consumed with scripting and content yet, because I know that when we get consumed with that, it can completely sabotage the video process if you're already not feeling comfortable on camera. So we wanted to get this in the right order. So building directly on the 7-day challenge that you're going to do, I want you to then feel comfortable putting your content together so you show up on camera in a way that you feel proud of and builds you as that expert like we talked about earlier. And there's actually a way that I and many other people that I consult with do this so that we're actually ready to speak on camera. And most importantly, so that we come across as confident and in control of that content. And here's the weird thing, it actually starts before you even sit down in front of the camera. So this technique is so easy, yet few people know about it. When I tell people how I approach this, they're floored at how much better they show up on camera. So it's going to save you hours of time staring at the lens, trying to get a great video. So in this video here that I want you to watch next, I teach you that technique and talk through how you can show up with your content ready to go. So I'll see you over there in the video. Later.
Put your hands up.